Most people completely overlook the easiest way to land a great rental. Don't miss your chance to learn the secret. What if looking for a new apartment to rent didn't have to be overwhelming and could even be quick and enjoyable? During my few years of being a London girl, I used to move every 8 months, which meant looking for a new apartment every 8 months. Over time, I identified 5 steps that I always follow to find the best deals and amazing apartments. Step 1. First of all, you're going to need an app to do your search. I recommend that you use only one app so that it stays manageable and you don't get overwhelmed at the amount of ads and things to keep up with. If you're in the UK, I recommend Zoopla. In my opinion, it is the most user-friendly, and I personally found all my apartments through Zoopla. And if you have FOMO with other apps, don't worry, you will find exactly the same ads on Zoopla than you would on other apps like Rightmove, for instance. Download the app and create an account. Why? Because this will allow you to save your searches, your favorite ads, and even your communication with agents. Use a dedicated email address so you keep things organized. It will make it a lot easier to search for past emails that have information about viewings, for instance. And once you find your new home, you won't be harassed by agents for the rest of your life. I still receive newsletters from agents that I haven't talked to in years, but because it's on this dedicated email address, I don't pay attention to it and I can just disconnect it from my main Gmail account. Step 2. You have your app, you are signed in. It is time to create your search. For this search, you have to enter a bunch of criteria. So let's select for rent because this is what I know best and this is the topic of this video. Next, you need to know exactly where you are looking. This has to be precise. You can't just say, I'm looking within London. You want a specific train or tube station and a specific radius around this station. If you don't really know where you want to live, you can watch this video next. I will give you the exact step-by-step to easily find a neighborhood that will match your vibe, and this is applicable to almost any country or city. If you have more than one preferred area, it is better to create 2 separate searches that will specifically target each neighborhood, rather than one more general search that will include both, but also probably a lot of others that you don't care about. Next, very important question. Are you planning on sharing, or do you want your own place? If you are sharing, do you have some non-negotiables? For example, maybe you want your own bathroom, or it must have a decent living room and not only a shared kitchen. If you are not sharing, do you want a separate bedroom, or are you happy with a studio? For this step, it is really important that you know what you want and how flexible you can be. You basically want to have a highly targeted search where every result could be a match for you, so you don't waste time with places that don't meet your needs. If you're not too sure how to decide on your priorities or what your non-negotiables are, I can make a video on that. Just let me know in the comments if you're interested. For your budget, I recommend that you set up the higher limit slightly above your actual budget, because you never know. I have been in situations where I was able to negotiate the rent down. And yes, even in a highly competitive market like London. I also recommend setting up a lower limit. This will avoid wasting your time on scams or ridiculous places. For example, if you are renting in London, you will never ever find a 1-bedroom flat in Zone 1 for £500 a month. This is just not happening. So if an ad like that pops up, it doesn't deserve your time, and you might as well make sure that it is automatically ignored. Step 3. For step 3, you should have your search ready to be launched. You identified where you want to live and set up a perimeter around that zone. You know if you want to share or not, how many bedrooms and bathrooms you want at the very least, and what are your minimum and maximum budget. You can also use the other filters available like has a garden or parking space and so on. But in my experience, they are not always accurate, and you could miss out on a perfectly good apartment by doing so. You are now going to save your search. Usually you will have a button that says Save Search, or it will be a little heart that you can click on. When you do that, I can almost guarantee that a little message will pop up asking if you want to receive notifications for this search. If it's not the case, go to your settings and find the notification section. You are going to say yes. You want to receive alerts both by email and push notification, and you are going to set up the frequency as high as you can. On Zoopla, it will send you a notification as soon as a new property is available, which is great. If you are not using Zoopla and you are given the option between, for instance, once a week, once a day, or as soon as a new ad is posted, make sure you select the most instant option. The goal here is to be able to review an ad as soon as it is posted, to be among the first to apply if you like it. And because you know your criteria really well, you will be able to make a quick decision on whether this is worth your time or not. By the way, I created a free checklist that you can use for your search. You can click on the link in the description to download it. Step 4. With step 4, we want to ensure that you can instantly contact the agent when you find an ad interesting, but also that you make a good first impression. This is what could make the difference between getting the viewing or not, especially in a highly competitive market. I advise that you have a little template in your note, a message that you can copy-paste to contact the agent as soon as you find an interesting property. We are not talking about sending a proper email here. We are talking about sending an in-app message that will then be forwarded to the agent. Make sure you look ahead of time in the app how many characters you can use for this message. There is no point preparing a 3-page long essay if you only have 50 characters. On Zoopla, for example, you have 200 characters, so let's make the most of it. I have put on the screen 2 examples that you can use for your research, and of course feel free to edit it to match your specific situation. Finally, don't overthink it. This is not the most important thing in the world, but I do think that every little helps, especially when it's low effort like that. This is a message that you write once and that you will reuse every time you contact an agent, so it doesn't hurt to put a 5-minute effort into it. Put yourself in the agent's or landlord's shoes. If you had only one slot for a viewing, who would you call back first? You know what I mean. Step 5. We have now reached our final step, step 5, and it is actually the easiest one. As soon as you receive a notification, open the app and send your pre-written message. If you are not in a position where you can pick up your phone at any time, I recommend that you find a friend or a family member that can send the message for you. If you followed all those steps until now, there isn't much thinking to do when you receive the notification, because most results should be properties that match your criteria. Finally, let's talk about the call option. Usually, you will have the option to call the agent directly from the ad. I think that, as I just said, every little helps, so I think it could be useful, especially in a highly competitive market like London. That being said, I never ever had a first contact by phone, and I rented amazing flats in London that I found by sending written requests without calling first. So, if you are comfortable calling, it can't hurt. But if you are like me and the idea of reaching out directly gives you nightmares, don't worry too much about it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any question about renting, let me know in the comments, and for now, I suggest that you watch this video next.